This is a 1984 Honda Aero 50. This is my new project. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's a 49cc moped that currently doesn't run and hasn't been giving me a world of issues. If you can't tell, I'm tired. I've been trying to kickstart it for the last 5 minutes. Nothing. We'll get it figured out. So I was let in on this little project a little late. I've already done some body work to it. Done a few professional zip ties. It's been pretty good. I had it running a little while ago. Now it's fighting me. It's missing quite a few pieces. A lot of plastics that are missing, broken plastics. The fuel tank isn't the cleanest, and the fuel delivery system is a complete mess because it's all ran off vacuum lines that of course are all missing. When I bought it, it was actually running off a brisk tea bottle that was zip tied to the back, and I've since gotten rid of that. But me and Tegan are doing our projects. You'll see his and you'll see mine. Slowly, step by step, get better and better, in better running condition, better look and feel, and just cleaned up in general. We're going to start tearing into these things and getting them good. I'm actually currently in Texas. There's a long story behind all that. I'm sure we'll get to it one day. But I'm in Texas, 1,000 miles away from Tegan right now, but we're on the same page. We're both doing these projects. His is a 1983, mine's an 84, they're both Hondas. His is a lot bigger than mine. Mine looks better, obviously. It's a moped, bright blue, covered in all these retro stickers. And yeah, it's a mess, but it's gonna be a fun adventure. Here we go. We're going to try to get it running. Hopefully it starts. I adjusted a few things on the carb, so hopefully that's got it happy. So we'll turn the kill switch off and fingers crossed. Okay, I know the lighting's less than ideal, but I got some goodies. Got a fuel cutoff line because it's getting too much fuel onto the carburetor because it's really ghetto and that's too cheap to buy the right part. Got some signal lights we're going to wire into the back because the old ones broke off when this got laid down. Another signal light. Biggest upgrade going on today, the valve stem covers. And I got some bulbs to replace the front turn signal lights. So we'll get them in right now. Okay, to get this fuel cut off in, I'm gonna have to take, this clamp is pinching off the fuel line to the main fuel tank that goes into the main fuel supply for the carburetor. Normally this is ran by a vacuum line that runs down to here, but I have this plugged
and this just feeds straight into the feedback here. And then I plugged this line here because this was seized up and broken, and I cannot find one of these at the moment for the price that I'm available for. So we're gonna toss in this cheap little $6 part from AutoZone. I'm just gonna splice this line about here and then toss this in line so I can cut off the fuel to this, because it's drowning this carburetor and flooding the engine and making this thing bog down. So we're gonna toss this in so we can adjust the fuel. Very not correct, but it'll work. So we'll get that tossed in right here. I'll cut it in, throw it in, and I will be back to you. And boom, 5 minutes later, I got it installed. So it just comes right off the fuel tank, cuts it off, and it goes right in the main line. And it's just easy as on and off. Next is to replace the bulb in that. And then we got to figure out some of this wiring here, because this goes to the rear signals, which I'm either going to mount off these brackets like they originally were, or I'm looking at doing into the plastic here or here, but I'm not sure yet. But that's what's coming up next. So these are super simple to get into. It's just one screw on the back side here, and then this plastic cover comes off, then I'll replace the bulb. And now that the screw's backed out, you just pull this like that. That cover might fall out. Just put that back in there. Now we just got to take a bulb and pop it in here. And there we go. Turn signal fixed. Now we got to just put the cover back on, and it's all good to go. That one already had a bulb in it, and it was good. This one just got broken when it got laid down. So fix that, and then eventually we'll rebend these, because these got bent up into this. Same thing with up here. Got bent up, but that was finished. Now we got to figure out the rear lights. All right, so I'm sitting here trying to figure out rear turn signal wiring, because when I got it, both of the rear turn signals that were mounted to this back bracket were snapped off because they were laid down. So I went to AutoZone and just picked up some just simple one wire and one power wire, and then the ground is just on the side here when you screw it down, to just replace it. And we're going to try and figure out where to mount it, probably somewhere about here on the back fender, but just trying to figure out which wires back here, because there's just like loose wires all over the place that are everywhere. I'm going to try to figure out which wire goes to which turn signal, because there's one wire for left and then there's one wire for right, and then trying to figure out what this mystery green wire is. I'm guessing, if I had to guess, it's the ground, but I don't know yet. So we're going to go ahead and test the left and right and try to figure out if the blue, or I'm guessing it's this orange one. I'm guessing orange is left and the blue is right, because it's the same colors for the front signals, the wires on the steering column. So I got to start it, and then we'll just touch this. We'll just hold the wire because it's low enough voltage, it's not going to hurt anybody. So, and then just hold the one into ground and see which wire is which when I flip the switch up there. Still got some carb work to do to get it running really happy, but we'll worry about that in a little bit. We're just going to put these together temporarily, and we'll just mount it to this metal bracket up here, just hold it, and we'll go with left. So it's not the left one, we'll try right, and you can see the bulb lit up just barely enough, but it does, when I give it some throttle, they glow a little bit brighter. Now we figured out the blue is the right signal. So let's try and put this in the orange one. The orange one's just a terminal, so I'm going to rather than hardwiring it in. We'll throw it on the left, and the bulb lights up. So now we know blue is right and orange is left. So now to wire it all up. So quick update on the lights. Figured out which way I wanted them, mounted kind of crooked on the back fender like that. Got the one wired in right now, the power end of it at least, and then drilled the holes in the fender to get it where it could wire through and bolt on. So I just got a couple more wires. I got the power wire to the other side, the right signal, and then the 2 ground wires I've got to hook up to the back side of a bolt I'm putting on here to ground it out, and then we should be all good. I'll throw back to the brake lights back on, plug everything back in, bolt it back up, and then I will show you guys a video of once it's running and the lights are working and back on. And then I think there's a relay that isn't working because when I turn on the turn signals, they just stay solid instead of blinking, but I don't know. It might just be how they are, but I will get it all thrown back together, do a little research and see if there's a relay that's stuck open and get that replaced or fixed and do what I can for that. Or probably what I'm going to do is just not worry about it. They turn on and they light up and stay solid. I don't really care, and I don't really need to put in the time to do that. I probably will end up looking it up, and if it's something easy I can fix, I'll do it. If not, it is what it is. But I'll get that wired up and I'll see you in a second. Alright, well, got the lights in, wired in, cleaned up a little bit. They're working. There's a little bit of an issue with grounding. I'm going to go get some nuts tomorrow to fix that issue. Not too hard to take that back piece back off. There's just 2 screws that end up taking this light off, allowing that back blue piece to come off separate from the rest of it. So I'll get that done tomorrow. Got a job interview tomorrow. I know, big stuff. Got to go do that, run and grab some nuts while I'm at the place because it's at AutoZone, so we'll do that. Get that figured out, get this redone, and working efficiently. It works right now, just on and off about the ground because it's a little loose. So we'll get that fixed tomorrow. But it all works. So I'm happy with it. I think I like the way it's sitting right now. I think we'll run with that. Just got to fix up the grounding issue, and then she'll be good to go. Next thing we're moving on is carburetor, adjusting jets, cleaning the carburetor a little bit, adjusting a few things. I got to clean out the air filter for it, just a little pop on one. That's not the best for it, but it's what came on it, so that's what we're gonna run. And then after that, figuring out some panels, a seat, and getting this thing cleaned up and looking better than it is. But I like it, it's got character. A lot better than Tegan's motorcycle. His only has like 10 times the power of mine, but you get more looks on this. Trust me, driving it to the gas station and back, every person just head turner. It'll get you the ladies. You want the ladies? Buy an old moped. The crappier it looks, the more surprised they are that it's actually running and driving, the better. So, on to the next thing. I almost forgot about the most important part. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a big performance. Tegan's got no chance. That just added like 40 horsepower. Tegan's done, no chance. That and that alone, out of the park. But we're gonna continue on tomorrow. Got a few other things to fix. But we'll just keep on chugging, that's all we can do. Here we go. So it's gonna be a little loud. I was trying to make a little bit of a modification to that old petcock that wasn't working. And I accidentally drilled it a little too deep and made a hole, tried to seal it, and it didn't work. So now I'm just catching all of the fuel so I can just not have this thing laying on its side how I did. So I just got to drain out all not the old fuel, this is brand new fuel I just put in. And then see what I can do to fix this, patch the hole, or I'm going to have to end up finding one of these and it's going to be out of service till then. So I'll give you an update when it's done draining the tank. Okay, so in the last part, you probably couldn't hear me that well. I had a fan running in the background just because when I was running the bike in here, it was smoking up this entire thing and I had to get some of that air out, and then I didn't really have time to stop and pause and go turn off the fan and come back over here. It was just dumping fuel, so I had to get that sorted out right away. So I got that fixed. Well, I didn't get it fixed. I got it all drained out here on the floor. So this is all drained out. And let me see. So now that I have this off, you can actually see, if I can get it up here and focus. Maybe. You see that hole right there? That's what was causing the issue. There's a big old hole in it, so it was leaking out of that. So I had to drain all the fuel out and then catch some extra. And then also when I was taking this off, I realized the flow of this, the fuel was coming out in spurts, like it was not getting air. Like if you turn a bottle upside down, it's gonna like chug because it's getting an air, or getting air to the top, and then fuel can come out, and then air and fuel. So it's like chugging. So I figured out that the gas cap is actually seized up. These are actually breather holes that are supposed to allow for some air to pass through and go into the top of the tank, so it doesn't have to chug like that. So I'm thinking that's why this is bogging down after a while, because it's running on air, and then I think it runs out of fuel because the flow is so inconsistent. So I've got to figure out something to get off of this bung on the fuel tank to the fuel line, so I can get a consistent flow. And then I've also got to get this thing either replaced, or I'm gonna have to figure out how to get it cleaned out very, very good. So that's my next mission, get that sorted out and get that sorted out. The fuel cap's not as big of an issue, much as this giant hole that's in it now. I can figure out this and clean this out, but that's a little bit bigger of an issue because I've either got to fix this, get a new one, or figure out some just awful solution to get from the thread into like a thing I can put a hose on. So we'll figure that out, get that sorted out. But that's probably it for me tonight, because I can't really do much more than that because it is like 10 o'clock at night and it's pitch black outside. All the stores are closed, so I can't really get anything done or figured out until then. So I'm just gonna clean up out here, and then I will see you in another one.